Have you ever wondered what the ancient Egyptians believed about their gods and how they worshipped them? From the god of the sun, Ra, to the goddess of magic, Isis, the civilization of ancient Egypt has a rich mythology that has captured the imagination of people for centuries. But what if I told you there's more to this story than what you learned about in school? In this video, we will reveal the shocking truth about ancient Egyptian gods and the stories behind their creation, triumphs, and tragedies. Stick around until the end to discover how these myths shaped one of the most remarkable civilizations in human history. The civilization of ancient Egypt is widely regarded as one of the most remarkable in human history, owing much of its success to the divine intervention of one of the world-shaping gods. In the beginning, the universe was a vast chaotic ocean, called Nun. A great pyramidal mound emerged from the waters, topped by a lotus flower whose blossoming unleashed a brilliant light that dispersed the darkness. This light was none other than the sun god, Ra, who gave birth to the first generation of gods, the god of air, Shu, and the god of rain, Tefnut. Despite their newfound freedom, the universe remained dominated by the immense mass of primordial waters, prompting Shu and Tefnut to plunge into the waters and explore their vastness. Ra became concerned when they did not return, and sent Hathor to find them. Happily, Shu and Tefnut were located and returned safely, causing Ra to weep tears of joy that gave birth to human beings. After Ra's descendants returned, they gave birth to Geb, the god of the earth, and Nut, the goddess of the sky, resulting in the creation of heaven and earth. Ra, the great god, ruled the universe with the title of the first pharaoh and bestowed sacred animals such as the ox and lion, but his most significant gift was the creation of the Nile River. The river's banks became the foundation of Egyptian civilization, built to please the gods. Ra was worshipped by Egyptians as both a god and a pharaoh in his human form. Ra was worshipped by Egyptians as both a god and a pharaoh in his human form. However, as he grew older and his power waned, people began to worship the serpent Apophis, which angered Ra. To punish them, Ra ordered the lioness god Sekhmet to initiate a great slaughter. Many of those who survived drowned in the flood of blood that followed Ra's earthly reign. Eventually, Ra retired to his solar boat as his reign neared its end. During the day, he traveled the skies, but at night, he journeyed to the underworld, where he confronted Apophis. Every sunrise marked a new victory for the god over the darkness. The bond between Osiris and his wife, Isis, was unbreakable, and they ruled over Egypt together for many years. However, Seth's jealousy towards Osiris grew stronger over time. He concocted a plan to eliminate his brother and take the throne for himself. Seth tricked Osiris into getting into a beautifully crafted chest, which he then sealed and threw into the Nile River. Osiris drowned, and his body was carried by the river to the coast of Byblos, where it was found by the queen of the city. She was so impressed with the beauty and majesty of the body that she decided to keep it and build a shrine for it. Meanwhile, Isis was heartbroken by the disappearance of her husband and set out on a journey to find his body. With the help of her sister, Nephthys, and her son, Anubis, she eventually found the chest that contained Osiris's body. She brought the chest back to Egypt and hid it in a secret location. Seth, however, was not content with just removing his brother from the throne. He wanted to ensure that Osiris would never return and sought out his body. After a long and grueling search, he discovered the location of the chest and dismembered Osiris's body into 14 pieces, scattering them throughout Egypt. Isis was determined to bring her husband back to life, and with the help of Thoth, the god of wisdom, she reassembled the body of Osiris. She then used her magical powers to bring him back to life briefly so they could conceive a child. Horus, the falcon-headed god, was born from this union, and he became the avenger of his father's death. The struggle between Horus and Seth lasted for many years, but eventually, Horus emerged victorious, and Seth was banished to the desert. Osiris, now the god of the underworld, became the judge of the dead and the protector of the afterlife. His story became a symbol of resurrection and eternal life in Egyptian mythology. Furious at the treachery of his own sibling, Seth plotted his revenge. the deity of arid terrain and embodiment of malevolence, hosted a grand banquet in his honor and invited Osiris to attend. During the feast, Seth presented a splendid coffin to the guests and offered to gift it to anyone who could fit into it perfectly. Osiris accepted the challenge and climbed inside. Once Osiris was settled, Seth shut the coffin and locked the god inside. The wicked deity then commanded for the coffin to be thrown into the Nile River, bringing an end to the life of the ruler of Egypt. Isis grieved at the loss of her beloved spouse, and her tears flowed into the Nile, resulting in customary floods. The goddess and her sister Nephthys searched for Osiris's body, and upon finding it, Isis attempted to conceal it. However, Seth discovered the body and dismembered it into 14 fragments. The merciless deity scattered the pieces of Osiris throughout Egypt. With the help of Anubis, Isis was able to recover all the fragments of her husband's body and unify them. Using her divine powers, the goddess embalmed Osiris's body and resurrected her cherished spouse. Nonetheless, Osiris went on to rule in the realm of the dead. Osiris fathered a child with Isis after he was given a second chance at life. Horus was his name, and he made a solemn oath to overthrow Seth, the tyrant who had usurped the throne that should have been his. In Egyptian mythology, the god of destruction, Seth, was responsible for Osiris's death. Osiris was the supreme god. He usurped the throne that had previously been held by his brother and immediately began his reign of terror. However, Osiris and the goddess Isis had already produced a child, and this child would become his heir. He was known by the name Horus. He was a god in the form of a falcon, and it was foretold that he would rule over the heavens and restore the light to Egypt, putting an end to the period of darkness that Seth had brought about. Horus decided to retake the throne that had been usurped by his uncle when he was an adult. This conflict would bring Egypt even further into anarchy, and, as a result, the gods would put it to the test. It was decided in the divine court that was presided over by the solar god Ra that the one who was worthy to sit on the throne would have to conquer several disputes. And so, the duels that were fought between Seth and Horus began. Seth was ultimately defeated, and Horus was ultimately victorious. During Ra's journey through the sky, Seth protected him from Apophis and became friends with Ra as a result. Horus received a challenge from the desert god, who involved transforming into a hippo and spending 3 months underwater. Horus expected his mother Isis to take advantage of Seth's vulnerability and kill him, but she didn't have the courage to do so. Horus was enraged by this betrayal and attacked his mother, severing her head. The god of knowledge, Thoth, saved Isis by replacing her head with that of a cow. The conflict between Seth and Horus continued for years as they fought in the desert. With the help of the love goddess, Hathor, Set managed to pluck out Horus's eyes, but Horus later recovered them. The heavenly court of gods required Set and Horus to reconcile. Set, pretending to be friendly, invited Horus to a feast in his palace, but then attempted to abuse him overnight, intending to render him unfit for the throne. However, Horus fought back and prevented Set from achieving his malicious goal. After deciding to seek revenge, Horus enlisted the help of the goddess Isis. She tricked Set into eating lettuce leaves containing Horus's holy seed, which caused Set to become poisoned and wilt away. A glowing disc emerged from Set's forehead, which was then taken by Thoth and placed on his own head. Set was humiliated, and after 80 years, the court finally granted Horus his rightful place on the throne. Isis was overjoyed to see her son, with the support of Osiris, take his rightful place as ruler of Egypt. Set was forced to travel with Ra on his solar barge, his loud cries audible even over the thunder from the sky. Horus's reign over Egypt began, and his descendants would include all the pharaohs who would come to rule Egypt. Thank you for watching this video on the shocking truth about ancient Egyptian gods. We hope you found it informative and intriguing. The mythology of ancient Egypt is a fascinating and complex subject that has influenced culture and beliefs throughout history. It is a testament to the enduring power of these ancient tales that they still captivate us today. We hope you've learned something new and that you were entertained along the way. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.